Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brain.
Oh, welcome to Tuesday night and the final guys, where, look, I know the world sucks right now. Everybody's worried. Nobody has a moment of peace. We're going to give you an hour and a half of complete stupidity. And I hope that makes you feel like a better person when we're done. I'm Hunter Shea. As always, I am joined by my friends. Don't Eat the Worm, Jason Brant.
I get a moment of peace every time this show ends. There's like 5 minutes where I feel pretty good.
5 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Jack Campese, Eat the Worm.
What has gotten into you, Peace Boy?
Chad Lutsky, who makes me feel at one with the earth.
Hello, hello.
And, me. So, yeah, tonight we are going to discuss the new Shudder original Hellbender. And those of you who have watched the Monster Man interview with the Addams Family, I hope you did, and then watched the movie. And now you're watching this. We're going to trap you into endless podcasts and blog posts. But before we start, does anyone have any special news to share?
Nope.
Nothing. Jack, that was an opening for you.
You just mentioned our Monster Man. We interviewed the Addams family on our latest show.
We already did that, but Jack was in the Belfry here.
I was in the Belfry.
We recorded 3 episodes of side-by-side old school Monster Men, which is literally 2 drunk middle-aged guys talking about horror shit. That's about just the best way I can describe it.
By the third episode, you got to have closed caption on.
I don't recall the third. No.
Thank God.
Yeah, there's the answer.
Thank God that it wasn't a cold day, because when he talks about being cold, there is no insulation, and there was a constant creaking noise behind us. It's either
right
haunted or
that's the ghost.
It's about to crumble.
It's always. I don't know how it's not heard.
What you don't know is there's like 2 feet in front of him, and that's it. Like,
that's really. If I go 3, I'm down the stairs.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you're like up and around. Okay.
Up and around the bend, up in my lair of garbage, where I like to live. So
Chad won't say it, but he's doing book covers now. So if anybody needs something.
Yes, I might be hiring him for something we were talking about on Patreon.
Yeah.
Very reasonably priced too. So can they go to chadlutsky.com or just find you on the Twitters or something?
Yeah. Either way.
Okay.
Maybe he'll do a cover that's a recreation of his Michael Myers titty right behind him. That'd be great.
I will say I just dropped on Sunday the So Bad It's Good for the worst movie I've ever seen, and I dare anyone to find a movie worse than it. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think I saw your episode, and I haven't seen the movie. Saw your episode. Don't know that it can be done, dude.
It's
just
the worst thing. It makes the Howling 7 look like high art.
Oh yeah,
good God,
insane. It's called After Last Season. It's available free on YouTube if you hate yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you. But
I saw the beginning of that episode. It looked like a romantic movie or something. Is it?
The poster makes it look like it's going to be some kind of Christian romance or something. It's not. I don't know what it is, but it's not that.
Oh God, you've seen it and you still don't know what it is. All right, before we jump into all the madness, who wants to read our drinking words?
I'll do it. I think they'll be oh, he did get Lutsky in there. Look at that.
Just in time.
All right. Thanks to Sheridan, as always. Jack, your words are middle folk. See, I got the L in there. And death. Hunter, yours are family, punk, and age. Chad, yours are woods, mother, and coming.
The milk edition.
Spell that?
Mine are book, left, and worm. The bonus words are witch, Addams, and Shudder.
Man.
So nicely done, Sheridan.
The old woods mother coming. All right. I hope you all have your drinks or your lines of cocaine ready because we're going to jump right into the most exciting award-winning segment on any podcast, Jack Campese's News.
It's the news. Yay.
I know that you guys are huge fans of the Academy Awards every year, right?
I know you are. No.
I try and watch some of the nominated movies, I will admit. But I also, every year, I get pissed off at how none of the movie, like so few of the movies are ones that people actually watch.
Yeah.
And it's all political bullshit. I hate the Oscars.
I hate any award show. Why would anyone watch any award show that you're not in? And even if you're in, why would you care? That's how I feel.
Well, the people who do the Oscars, I guess the last year's ratings were the worst ever.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, they don't have hosts anymore. If they do have hosts, they get canceled. You know, there's just
they should
so
have
many
Siri
problems,
host it.
right? They've come up with a new category called Oscars Fan Favorite Award, where they're putting it out like on Twitter.
Right.
And this is the way, kind of like People's Choice Award. There's a fan favorite and then a sheer top moment, which I guess is the
sheer top moment.
I guess that's going to be like at the end of Avengers Endgame. You know, like what was the biggest cheer one? I don't know, but the Oscar fan favorite, one of these movies may win an Oscar. Army of the Dead, Cinderella, which I didn't know was a movie this year, Dune, something called Minamata, which I think was with Johnny Depp, Power of the Dog, which is an actual Oscar nominated movie, Sing 2, Spider-Man Home, Suicide Squad, Tick Tick Boom, which is very good. But the reason I'm bringing this all up is Malignant is on this list.
And if that doesn't win,
fuck's sake.
If that wins an Oscar, throw the Oscars away forever. And Jason's pulled out.
How great would it be if somebody gets to go up and talk about Malignant on the Oscars?
Oh my! Look, I love Malignant, but
do you need more proof that this is just a sham bullshit? Like, for fuck's sake. Malignant is up for an Academy Award. Army of the Dead is up for an Academy Award.
People's Choice. I don't know how many people are
talk
even
about
still
throwing the
about...
peons a bone. I mean,
right.
Jesus.
Well, yeah.
What a crock of shit.
I would only want to get nominated for an Oscar if I could send something or someone more ridiculous than Marlon Brando did, or to accept if I won. I would never want to be there.
I mean, if I had a movie that was nominated and I was going to make more money, I would 100% go.
I wouldn't give a shit. Nobody ask Halle Berry how much that Oscar meant to her, what it did for her career. It do nothing. None of these awards do.
Don't care about that. If I'm going to sell more DVD copies, I would go.
All I say is go vote Malignant.
Yeah. Is there like a website we can vote?
I think you could do hashtag Oscars fan favorite and you'll find the information. Ooh, Vanilla Face is in the house.
Huh, we're always in the house. We're so vanilla. We need some vitamin D.
Okay, the other piece of news, this just kind of rolled out. There has been talk about Beetlejuice sequel forever, and it keeps getting delayed. The most promising thing has happened since that has all started. Brad Pitt's production company, Plan B, has come on board to produce it. So it looks like the Beetlejuice 2, which Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder are attached to.
Wow.
Could be happening sooner than later.
This is one of those ideas that I think sounds really great because I love Beetlejuice, but that's a weird movie that uses stop motion animation like crazy. If you CG it, everyone's going to hate it. If you stop motion, everyone who was born after 1995 is going to hate it. I just don't see that. That movie's so strange, it shouldn't work on any level. And it does. I don't know how you recapture that. I hope
Do you
they
think
can.
do you think you have to have Tim Burton for it to work?
Yeah.
I would think so. I
Or,
mean,
or somebody who can mock all his aesthetics. You got to have that oddball kind of like gothy, whimsical stuff.
Maybe Guillermo del Toro can make a 3-hour version of it.
God.
I want to see Quentin Tarantino's 3.5-hour version of it.
Oh gosh.
I just want to see your feet, Lydia.
Winona's feet.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Look, Michael Keaton could probably still kill it.
He's coming back as Batman in more than one movie. So all his old roles,
Wow.
we're going to see Mr. Mom come back next.
I'd like to see Gung Ho too, actually, where it's the electric car version.
And what's the one in the funeral home? That was really old.
Night Shift?
Night Shift.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah, we get the Fonz back out.
Yeah, get Henry back in there. That'd be
Shelley
cool.
Long. I'm in.
Barnard is in the chat saying he's never seen Beetlejuice or Ghostbusters.
Oh,
But
wow.
he's seen like zombie hooker sluts
yeah.
Japan 18 times.
Yeah,
Zombie
this whole
hooker sluts.
years dedicated to watching movies where nipples get cut off and stuff. He's behind.
Do you think they'll
ahead.
bring Alec Baldwin back for Beetlejuice?
He's just a dope.
Yeah, I would love to see Alec Baldwin back.
He'd come firing on all cylinders, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Firing on all cylinders.
I wonder if he'll host the Match Game show this summer. He's been doing that for a few years.
Host. Billy Baldwin's going to take over.
Just throw Baldwin in there. Doesn't matter.
Well,
All right, that's all the news that's fit to print. Let's move on.
All right, I'm just going to run it.
We have such sights to show you.
Is there a drink for awkward pause before a bumper?
Well, typically you say, all right, this is what we watched this week, and you didn't, so I just...
Because I like the way Jack ended it, so I figured, but no. Whatever. It's all good. Hey, anyone who's been watching, listening, knows what happens now. This is now where we fill your ear holes and eyeballs with dumb stuff that we watch. And because Chad, you are our man of honor tonight. I want to hear what wonderful thing you watched, I'm sure, on Tubi.
You're right, man. You're absolutely right. I was reading a book and it had this basement scene in it, and I was like, man, it put me in a mood for some reason to watch this movie that I'd only seen once before and saw it last year, and that's House by the Cemetery, Lucio Fulci's film from 81, I think it was.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about Italian horror movies, but I just love them. I don't, most of the time they don't make any sense at all, and I'm totally okay with that. I think it's the mixture between like the music, which is usually feels very misplaced, and the excessive gore and the bad dubbing. I love it. And this is probably my second favorite Fulci, being a zombie being my favorite. So that from what I could gather watching it, this guy moves his family into a house in Boston where his colleague used to live while doing research on the house. And during the research, the colleague hung himself and I think killed his wife too. And now the cellar is locked up so nobody can get down there. And there's this ghost girl that talks to this new kid that's living there with his family. Doesn't come right out and say that she's a ghost, but I guess she is. She's kind of there to warn him about the house. And then there's this tombstone that's in the floor, in the top floor of the house, or the ground level floor of the house, set right into with the hardwood. Very strange. And then right underneath that is just the basement, and then they have a maid there, this good-looking maid that doesn't really have a story, but then you sense that she's kind of off her rocker, or maybe evil, and she ends up getting that the basement door, like unboarding it, so that they can get down there. And there's this creature that lives down there. You're not sure what it is, and sometimes there's bodies all over the place down there, and then sometimes there's no bodies down there. It just depends.
It's so weird.
When people go down there, you don't know what you're gonna find, but it's the gore in it is really good. There's a scene in there. My favorite scene is this, where this woman gets a bat stuck in her hair, and then her husband tries to help, and he gets the bat stuck on his hand that's biting, and it won't let go. And it's almost like this Family Guy-esque long clip of just him trying to get this bat off from his hand and just stabbing it, and there's blood everywhere. It's so ridiculous, that scene, but it's hilarious. And it's kind of one of those movies where after you're done, you're still really not sure what happened. But I mean, that's most of the Italian horror for you. So
yeah, I saw that movie when I was in high school in a little theater near my house, and I just remember walking out like, what the hell did I just see?
We were so excited, like the theater by me. I remember seeing the coming attractions when I was like 12, and I remember the coming attractions had a guy going, "The house by the cemetery," and we got all, "Oh, that is so cool!" And then at 13, we went running to the movie theater, and we just were like, "What the fuck was that?" I like it better now than as a kid, but man, did I hate that movie when I was young.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that kind of stuff when I was young.
I think one of the women in that was in Blood on Satan's Claw. Just when I recognized her, kind of striking one of the young ladies.
I realized while you were describing it, I've never seen this movie. I thought I had, but
it's worth watching for the bat scene alone. It's hilarious.
I haven't seen it in years. So I have to rewatch.
It's so excessive.
I was thinking of Cemetery Man, I think.
Oh, that's good too, man.
I think that's what I was thinking of, not this.
But that's not cheesy. That's well done.
Yeah.
I have seen
this. This is just crazy. It's like a fun house.
There's a couple reasons to watch that one.
Oh? Am I not
He'll tell you later off camera.
Yeah, no.
All right.
I guess the joke went over your head.
Look at the doll behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a couple reasons.
Chad does full frontal. His early days as an actor.
A couple very symmetric reasons.
At least they're symmetric. I like that. Although I'd like an uneven boob.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Speaking of uneven boobs, Jason, I know you haven't been watching much lately.
No, I haven't. But I did sneak one in last night, and I regret it. It was on Shudder. It's called Game of Death. I don't know if it's a Canadian film or a French film because all the credits, like all the names, are French names. Mm-hmm. It's in English. It's about a group of super annoying weirdos who are partying in a house. They're, I don't know, 20, 25, something like that. And they find a game, almost like a 90s electronic board game, that when they play it, it kind of traps them into this game where they have to kill.
Ooh,
that's pretty gory. That's not going to get us monetized on YouTube.
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face.
It's raspberry preserves.
Is that the guy from Def Leppard?
Hey, it's Chad.
No, it's Joe Elliott from Def Leppard.
Totally Joe Elliott.
I don't think I can show many of them. So,
is there any blood in this movie?
No, not really.
Yeah.
It's they have to I think the number 24 appears on the board, and they have to kill 24 people in a certain amount of time, or they will all die. So basically what happens is their heads explode if they don't kill someone every 3 minutes or so. I don't know the exact number.
Experiment, anyone?
Changes. Yeah. So if they don't kill someone, someone's head explodes. So they figured this out quickly, and they have to basically go on a rampage. Cool premise.
That sounds like a blast.
Ton
no
of
pun
gore.
intended.
Annoying. This movie was it was like 73 minutes. That's why I picked it. Thought I could get it in. I really, really disliked a lot of this movie. Cool effects, like I said, cool gore. Sometimes the music was pretty cool, very 80s soundtrack. I mean, there are just points where it turns animated. It turns into a video game for a little while. it keeps cutting back to them recording each other from the beginning of the movie, drinking together, like just randomly. It almost seemed like they were trying to pad the runtime. I don't know. It was there's this weird incest thing going on throughout it.
Oh, boy.
I don't understand this movie. It was over me. Not a fan in the slightest. I don't really like to talk about stuff that I don't like on here, but I didn't watch anything else except for one other movie. So this one's going to get a pass for me. But if you're into really weird, esoteric, super gory movies with horrible characters, give it a try.
It's a horrible title.
Barnard's buying it right now.
The title reminds me of something that would be translated from another language into Game of Death.
Oh, when I first saw it, I was like, is this the Bruce Lee movie? No, it's not.
You can only hope.
This one was a struggle. This one was
clunker.
My wife hated it.
Wow, that's cruel of you to make her watch it.
Well, I didn't know it was shitty.
Still 73 minutes. That's money.
73 minutes.
You say that now. It felt long.
Is this bloodier than the new Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
well, it has one
so.
thing going for it, I guess.
There's some serious head explosions in this.
My favorite head explosions to me always be Belko.
And they're done well. The gore is done really well.
We could see.
Just everything else was really annoying.
All right. Jack, annoy us.
I will. On Shudder, there is a new vampire movie called All the Moons. So I checked it out. And I would say that it is more of a vampire movie than a horror movie. Because it deals with a little girl way back in one of the early Spanish wars. I don't know how far back it goes. And she's in like a orphanage or something. It gets hit by a bomb. Everybody's killed. She gets rescued by somebody and she's dying. And it turns out this person is a vampire and gifts her with eternal life. Then they are chased by humans once the sun comes up, and she's warned you can't go out in the sun, and she's got a blanket over her and stuff. And from there, she's got to kind of deal with being a vampire. So there's a lot of young girl in a becoming a vampire and dealing with it, but it's not so much of like a let the right one in where she's like attacking people and killing them and that kind of stuff. They deal with it a lot differently. So there's a lot less horror in this. And they do a couple of tweaks to the vampire mythos to make it its own. So it's a good movie and it's shot well. And the little girl is amazing in it. But if you're looking for like the next Salem's Lot or Let the Right One In, that's not it. This is more of like if you enjoy like the examining the, pathos of being a vampire kind of stuff. It's a well-told story down that road. So good vampire movie, not quite on the horror side though.
You say like a cerebral vampire movie?
A little cerebral.
Subtitles?
Is that on Shudder?
It's on Shudder. I think it's worth a watch, but like don't go in thinking you're going to get some glowing eyes and some torn out throats and stuff like that.
All right.
The girl is spectacular in it. And they do some cool stuff with the vampire rules.
All right. Maybe I'll give it a shot. If I'm going to watch vampires, I want to watch something different. So I don't need craziness. All right. I was on Shudder and I have been dying. My wife has a thing. She hates documentaries. So I always have to wait till she's like not around. So I finally watched the Boris Karloff documentary. Boris Karloff, the man behind the monster. This is, I mean, for me, he grew up on Universal horror movies and Boris Karloff. I mean, I just devoured this. It could have been like Camp Crystal Lake, like Crystal Lake Memories, 6-7 hours long. I would have been happy. It's relatively quick. It's like a little over an hour and a half. It's maybe not the slickest looking documentary you'll ever see. But they give a little bit of Karloff from, his childhood all the way through to his last movies in the 60s and I think the early 70s. I thought this was fascinating. I wanted to see more. I don't know. more of Carlos' life outside the silver screen. But you did have, I mean, you're showing here, Jason. You had Guillermo del Toro talking, Ron Perlman, Christopher Plummer, Lee Grant, Caroline Munro. I mean, yet John Landis, of course. John Landis will never say no for an opportunity to talk. But he's great. He's absolutely great to listen to. Peter Bogdanovich, who we just lost not too long ago. Roger Corman, who we will never lose. Joe Dante, another guy. I always feel like if John Landis is lurking, Dante is somewhere around. You can just grab him. Hey, I got Landis in here. Dante, come on, go sit in the chair. So I would say, if for those of you who are younger, maybe never watched a lot of the classic monster movies, watch this. Watch this man and what he did with his career and how he transformed himself as he got older, but also he was pigeonholed and he was thrown in a lot of crap movies for a long time. But he's more than just the monster. I mean, man, he's the goddamn Grinch. So it's everything from working with, Universal to Roger Corman in the end. And it was utterly fascinating. And I had a pen and paper and I'm just writing down these movies that I wanted to watch. And luckily Shudder's put quite a few of them on the channel. So you can just jump straight from there to one of his movies. So bravo for them. Yeah.
I really like how Shudder is filling out with just old, even not just classics, but classics like that, like his stuff, even the weird Italian stuff they're throwing up there that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like just an easy way to get a huge catalog of weird horror shit people might want to watch that probably cost them $4.
Yeah. I mean, like I was binging on Giallo movies, a month or so ago, watching stuff I never even heard of. I was watching one after the other. And I loved it.
It's well-rounded. Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I dig it.
All right there, Mr. Karloff Lutsky. What did you watch today?
I watched have you guys seen a movie from 1989? It's an anthology movie called After Midnight.
No.
Is that a Scorsese movie?
No.
No, that's After Hours.
Oh, which was fantastic. No, this is called After Midnight. I'd never heard of it either. It's Hunter, you're the one who doesn't like anthos, right?
I hate anthos, but I think I saw this. I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
I'm not crazy about them either.
Yeah, well, they can be hit or miss. There's a couple great ones out there. Southbound, Creep Show, obviously. But I really enjoyed this. I didn't expect to. I just kind of put it on just to kind of turn my brain off and, fall asleep or whatever. And one of the big differences between this one and a lot of other ones you see is this, the kind of like skeleton story, the bookend story was actually entertaining as well as the other stories. I don't want to go into detail about each of them, but the whole movie definitely has like a late 80s, early 90s feel to it right off the bat, but without, I don't know, there was just some decisions that was in the filmmaking that felt more mature and less cheesy than I expected. I liked all of the stories in it. There was some gore in it. All of the effects were good, I thought. And I liked all of the stories. I can't remember anybody who's in it, but the acting was good.
Well, it has Pam Adlon, who you all might remember from Californication.
Yes,
She's
in
Runkle's
it.
wife.
Yeah, she plays like a high school girl.
Runkle.
Oh yeah.
And that blonde girl too. I know her from somewhere, and the redhead, but I don't know.
Marge Helgenberger. I mean, yeah, that's some people in there.
That blonde girl, is she from like Nightmare on Elm Street or something? Is she the primetime bitch?
Jack would know.
That one that we're looking at right now?
No. There's a blonde girl like 4 or 5 photos back. Not very attractive, but not her. Anyway,
horrible.
God damn.
Son of a bitch.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, ladies. Yeah,
Where's the ugly bitch?
It's a big break on TV.
But the stories weren't like really predictable or anything. Some original stuff happens in there. Some of it's kind of like when you get to the end, you're like, oh yeah, I guess I've kind of been told this story before, but you really didn't see it coming, and it was done well. But if you're into Antho movies and you don't mind something with that late 80s, early 90s aesthetic and can appreciate some of the campiness, I recommend it. It's like I said, it's better than, it's kind of up there with the same feel as like Body Bags, which did that come around the same time? Like late 80s, early 90s?
I think that's 90s.
Yeah, maybe early 90s.
Well, this is 89. If they told me it was 92, I would have believed it, because it wasn't, it was like right there on the edge. But
Prime Video store time.
After midnight, I think it's on Tubi, and it's getting. I think one of the reasons why I chose it too is I think they're taking it off soon. It was in the little leaving soon panel.
It's there, and according to the interwebs, it's also on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So
I can't believe I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, me neither. It's good, man.
It's got a good rating.
I guarantee you, I watched it way back in the day. I mean,
yeah.
When my wife and I were dating in the 80s, we were watching 6-7 horror movies a day, every day at one point. In between, sexy time.
Thank you.
Okay, then. Who's next?
I was concerned.
Yeah, wasn't just horror movies at 19. Good Lord.
Jesus Christ.
I had to get the poison out. All right, Jason.
My turn. All
right,
right.
It's your turn. You can do it.
So I had to throw in the movie that is going to be on So Bad It's Good this weekend. It is Death Spa.
Oh,
we don't always do horror movies on there just because, sometimes horror movies are just pain. It's just you think it's going to be fun, bad, and it's not. But somebody sent me this Blu-ray, so I wanted to check it out. And this movie is insane and a lot of fun. I had never watched it before, and it was as bad and cheesy and fun as I wanted it to be. If you want to see people get... So right on the cover there, you can see this guy is doing I don't know what you call that, a fly machine. And his chest doesn't rip like the cover. Like the side of his body, like his ribs kind of explode for some reason. And from then on, you really know you're in for fun. There's copious amounts of boobs. People die in gory ways that don't make any sense at all.
That's okay.
A girl's making out with a guy and his face just explodes, like something flies through it. And I don't know what it was or why it happened. There's supposed to be this computer that's controlling everything in the gym, but it's controlling like the boards and the walls and shit. and this fish or whatever the hell. And then it turns into there's a witch involved, I think, or a ghost. I don't know. This movie is nonsense, but it's a lot of fun.
Ken Foray's in it.
I don't know if this is available free anywhere. I'm sure it's on Amazon, but I had the Blu-ray.
Reviewed it on this show years ago.
Oh, you did?
I'm pretty sure I did. I discovered this movie late, but I love it.
Yeah, first time I've seen it, but I quite enjoyed it. It says, you can get it on Amazon for $4, or apparently Plex TV for free.
Plex.
So
is Plex a free thing like Tubi?
I think
Plex is free, but I'm not exactly sure how Plex works.
I have a friend who has Plex, and he shares his account.
Yeah, Plex was a program you could have a home server with.
I think that's it, because everybody I know, I have a friend who has Plex, and I think there is home server aspect to it, because I think sometimes stuff's on there that is not available in other places.
Yeah, I think they've moved into a streaming service. I don't know when, but I've seen them pop up before, and I had no idea.
It also scrapes the other providers, like Crackle and Tubi and stuff like that. So sometimes you'll see it, and then there's like ads and stuff.
Okay.
All I know is I gotta watch Death Spa again.
It's fun. I'm editing the episode now. It'll come out Sunday, but it's wild.
Yeah.
Ken Foray's in it, by the way. So yay for that.
My man. Except when he hit on my woman. But other than that, he's my man. All right, Jack.
Good for him.
I'm not going to go into the story. I think I've told that story before. Fuck that guy. I'll beat him with Glenn Danzig.
How old is Ken Foray now?
He might be 70, right?
I'm pretty sure he could still beat the shit
Still
out of
a
all
big
of us at
boy.
once.
Oh, he could crush us in a second. I'm scared to death of him.
All right. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this, if somebody brought it up years ago, but I saw a found footage movie. Jason, if you haven't seen this, you got to watch it like ASAP. Capture, Kill, Release from 2016.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
This is about a couple. You know how you sit around sometimes and you talk about, oh, how could you kill somebody and get away with it? And you're always like, oh, you got to do this or that. And you brainstorm on how you try and get away with murder.
I think about doing that to you guys all the time.
Right. So this is about a couple who has decided to do that, and they're going to film the process as they do it. And one of them, the wife, is really into it, and the husband is into it, but he sort of has some cold feet. So that's kind of the dynamic going on there. And then you see exactly how they go about doing this. And there's plenty of gore. This is a really fun found footage movie. I found it on some list of like great found footage movies you may have never seen. And when I saw it, I said, "Oh, I've seen this thumbnail before somewhere. I recognized the poster." I had a blast with it. It's a quick, gory, fun found footage movie, and I mean there is no shortage of blood in it.
On
I like
Tubi
everything
again.
you said just now on Tubi.
On Tubi, you got Jason. If you're trying to chalk up found footage movies, this needs to be on your list.
I don't know how I've never even heard of it.
Oh, because there's hundreds out there somewhere.
That's why I was so excited when I saw it. I was like, oh, I actually have a gem to bring back. It's like I said, even if you don't love this movie, you're going to be like, oh, it's a found footage movie. You never once kind of question why they're filming. It's not just the same old thing. It was a original idea, and I thought they executed it pretty well. For they probably made this thing for $25.
I would think if you're trying to get away
How
with
many
murder,
tacos?
filming it is probably a good way not to.
That's true, but if you're going to actually do it, are you really playing with a full deck? So
Maybe not.
Fair enough.
If you do it well, you are. All right. So after I watched the Boris Karloff documentary, I said, all right, let me watch one that I haven't seen of his in a long time. And that movie was The Black Cat. Woo! This is a pre-code movie, and it kind of shows. This is, first of all, Boris Karloff was such a badass that his name in credits in the movies in the beginning was just Karloff. That was it. Karloff. And he plays opposite Bela Lugosi in this movie. Holy cow. It starts with this couple on their honeymoon. They're going to Hungary for their honeymoon, I guess. And they have this little cabin and train, and Bela Lugosi kind of intrudes. And his name is Dr. Vitus, which I just kept thinking he was like a vitamin maker or something. So they get off the train. It's a dark and stormy, rainy night. They get on this little car that's supposed to take them wherever they're going, and the car crashes. The driver dies. Lugosi's manservant carries the girl in the rain up to this giant house on this hill. And in that house, the owner is Mr. Karloff. And Mr. Karloff and Lugosi were both fighting the Russians in the war. And this house is built where there used to be a fort, and Lugosi knows that Karloff fucked over the Hungarian army and gave the Russians victory there or something like that. And through it all, this is Lugosi wants to murder Karloff because he knows that Karloff murdered his wife and children during the war. So there's this tension going on between the two of them. There's the woman having the vapors. There's the affable guy who's just trying to get along with these strange mother effers. This movie starts out kind of weird. Like when Karloff is first introduced, you don't know if he's a zombie because like when he walks in the room, he just kind of leans forward and stares and doesn't talk much. So he goes between this weird zombie stare and then talking like, you know, an aristocrat. It gets bananas. There are dead women floating in glass boxes. Bela Lugosi has a fear of black cats. His reaction to whenever cat comes on the screen is unbelievably hysterical.
Hilarious.
There is Satanism. There's a lot of Satanism in this movie. There is somebody gets skinned alive. Things blow up. I mean, it gets bonkers. And Karloff might be doing something with Lugosi's daughter that he thought was dead all this time. Telling you, it's a weird movie. My favorite part, though, is this would normally be like this big haunted looking castle mansion. This is a super Art Deco modern. This place would be modern in the 30s now if you had it out there. So the interior, it totally fucks your brain up. You're going, is this a Karloff and Lugosi movie? Why in this beautiful house with all this modern stuff? To me, when I watched it, that was my favorite part of the movie, was just the house. It was so opposite of everything that was going on in the story. But it's crazy, man. It's one of the really better ones.
This is a blind spot for me. I need to go back and check it out.
Yeah, and it's like 70 minutes long, if it's even that long. I don't know.
That makes me happy.
It moves right along. You could squeeze it in. You can do it. So, The Black Cat on Shudder.
Very nice.
I saw that a few years ago. That was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. There's just a lot of implied stuff being done that you're like, wow, pretty racy for its time. No nudity, though. Sorry, everybody. So are we all done? Are we going to jump into the main feature?
I thought somebody had something called Baby
Oopsie, yeah.
Baby Oopsie.
Yeah. Have anybody seen
Mr.
it?
Marbles.
From 2021, last year?
Haven't even heard of it.
It's on Tubi, and the cast of characters in this thing is like if the people who made Greasy Strangler directed a Chucky movie. There's
okay, I'm interested.
Holy shit.
Go on.
Some of these characters are absolutely iconic. It's very, very quirky, and it starts out kind of artsy, intelligent, but very, very campy. A recluse single woman who I think is her mom, but she calls her Mitzi. Mitzi is this overbearing, lazy slob, and the recluse has this public access television show where she shows off her doll collection. And for some reason, the mailman and her neighbor are just obsessed with this show, and they are really into this woman, who is, by the way, not attractive.
Keeping the streak alive.
So anyway, she puts this doll together over time, and it becomes this blood-hungry thing for a really ridiculous reason. And that's where the movie starts to lose me. But that's because I cannot stand the Child's Play movies, particularly the first one or two. There were a couple that I was like, oh, that's okay. And I actually did like the remake or reimagining or whatever that they did a few years ago. But I'm not a fan of Chucky at all. So when this doll starts talking way more than Chucky has ever talked, it's just constant talking, constant one-liners. But some of the one-liners are kind of funny because they draw from other movies. Mm-hmm. Like at one point, this doll, before it kills somebody, it pisses on a desk, and then it says, "You're all gonna die up there." So, and then it pukes green everywhere, like acid green. If you're into like those Chucky movies and into like B movies, you're probably gonna really love this. And again, the Greasy Strangler type characters, a couple of them, especially this neighbor with the worst hair ever. He's, God bless him, he's hilarious, and I would like to see that character in other movies. But yeah, it's on Tubi.
Did I see there was a sequel to this?
Well, the baby looked familiar, and I looked it up. This is from Full Moon, so Baby Oopsie is from the Demonic Toys movies.
They do.
It's a spin-off.
It might be because whenever the TV is on, they're playing like it's playing Subspecies, or there's a kid playing a video game that's actually Puppet Master. It's got one of the Puppet Master characters in the video game.
My favorite thing on the internet, the first question people ask is, Baby Oopsie a real movie? That's a valid question.
Full Moon. Oh, God. Okay.
I wrote it down. I'm going to be watching it.
Hunter, I'm curious to see what you thought of it, or what you think of it.
I love Chucky movies. I like full moon movies. This is good enough for me.
You're probably going to like it a lot then.
Yeah.
What did you write that on? A receipt from the grocery store?
I don't know. It's like a little like note thing.
It's too short to be a CVS receipt.
Yeah.
It's my junk cover. So now that we're all going to watch Baby Oopsie, I think that's all I want to talk about for the next couple of weeks on the show.
Maybe that could be our 250.
Oh,
we need a 250. Something stupid.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be something people have heard of, though.
Is there a Greasy Strangler too?
Children of the Corn.
No.
God damn you.
No. Not happening.
I want something we got to fight about.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find it. All right, so let's jump into our main feature, Shudder's brand new movie, Hellbender.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Charlie in the Box.
Nobody likes Charlie in the Box. I was listening to Gilbert Gottfried's new podcast, and he had these two guys who are experts on Saturday morning cartoons. And it was an hour and a half of bliss listening to them reminisce about all these shows.
An expert on Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, it's an expert.
That's like me and all my friends any day of the week.
Yeah.
One of them said he collects, I guess, I don't know what he like, toy stuff from cartoons. He has 30,000 pieces in his house. I'm like, good Lord.
Oh my goodness.
Like a virgin.
What's his mom think of all those?
You could have 30,000 things. You could have one moon boob. I'll go with one moon boob.
This is my unopened Wally Gator figure.
I have 17 droopy dogs action figures. All right, let's get off this topic. Jack, you and I watched Hellbender side by side.
We sure did.
After having some Miller genuine drafts, went to an Irish pub.
Went out in public.
Movie. We did. It was crazy. Felt good. Felt good to be unmasked, surrounded by sweaty Irish people in a bar. What's this movie about, Jack? How would you describe this?
I don't remember.
The pitch. that one Guinness put you over the edge.
A mama witch teaches a baby witch about how to bend some hell in the woods.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. That's works. Literally the log line right there. You did it. God damn. I need you to make my log lines. Help me out.
I'll make some logs for you.
By the way, yeah, we spooned. That's right, Michael Clark. We might have forked a little too, you son of a bitch. So, Jack and I watched this. We were very curious what Jason would think about this movie. So
really?
I'm going to start off. Yeah, we were. So I'm going to start off with you, buddy.
This is in my wheelhouse. I like small artsy films when they're well made. And I liked it a lot. I have only seen 2 of their movies now. What was the last one called? The
Deeper You Dig.
Yeah, The Deeper You Dig, which I also really liked. This one felt like a quantum leap forward as far as production values go. I mean, they had CG in this. I was really shocked by that. And most of the CG looked pretty damn good, too. There was one where somebody was kind of disintegrating in a dream, and right when it started to not look good, they cut away from it. And I was like, hey, it's like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
When you see people, even they don't have money, that they know how to make a film and not have it look ridiculous. It's impressive. I really like it. I like what they're doing. I think anybody who wants to know how to make a micro budget film should email these people. Well, how about watch all their stuff first and then email them any questions you have. Yeah. I thought it looked great. I mean, they know what they're doing. So I really enjoyed it. I hope they become a staple of Shudder, and that Shudder just funds their movies and they just keep doing whatever in the hell they want to do, because it just feels like a great movie you'd find on that streaming platform. So I dug it.
Yeah. Wow, look at this. I thought you'd be yelling at us. So there we go. What do I know? I don't know why. I just thought
I
you
don't
might-
either.
I wasn't found footage. It wasn't found footage or so terrible.
Didn't have action in it.
It was a
Good.
death spa.
Yeah. Jason. Chad. Come on, buddy.
Okay, so
Tell us about the pathos of the witches.
yeah. Okay, I watched Monster Man, where you interviewed the Addams family, and I will admit to I enjoyed the episode, but I've seen so many movies that are like passion projects, or you get your friends together and stuff, and so when you guys said to come on and do this movie, I was like, oh, this movie's
You're
gonna
have to
suck.
trash it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to trash it, and I know they're gonna watch, whether they're watching now, whether they watch later, and I'm gonna look like the a-hole again
We're
because
gonna
I'm
make
the
sure
movie
they watch.
snob, and I can always see something bad in something.
It's the movie
And
snob
so-
who just brought us Baby Oopsie.
Well, I didn't say that I loved it, and so I was really nervous and a little disheartened that we were going to do this one because, like I said, I'm going to be the a-hole on here talking trash about these people's movie, because how can a family put together something that competent? And dare I say, I loved this movie. I mean, it was
Thought you would.
there. I don't know if it's because I went in with. I am just so thoroughly impressed that a family can do what they did, because this wasn't just like a. I mean, there were some really artistic decisions. There were some gutsy moves made in this. It was very, they would cut from one thing to the next, and it was like the scene where they're like in the forest and she's like bones, and it cuts right to them standing at the bones rather than walking to the bones. Those kinds of cuts I love in a movie, because I feel like they trust, just like in a book, you're trusting the reader, you're trusting the viewer to know that they don't have to hold your hand to, they walked over here. This movie was full of stuff like that. The music was phenomenal. I don't know if they wrote all of the music,
I
but
think they did.
it
It's
was
their
so
band. It's the two of
fitting
them.
for each scene was so fitting and haunting, some of it. And it was sometimes it got angsty when you didn't expect it to be, almost punk like. And that was so fitting. I really, really like this movie a lot. And I'm thoroughly impressed that a family could put together something like this. And that the acting, particularly the girl, my gosh,
Yeah, Zelda was great.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm really glad I saw it. And it was, it was very quiet, slow burny. It was, right in my wheelhouse for sure.
I had a
Alright.
feeling you were going to like this. It
Yeah.
just felt like a
Yeah.
Lensky movie.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about Chad. Jack and I were worried about if we could hold our pee in long enough to watch it. But we made it.
I don't know if they got new cameras. Well, they definitely had a drone, because they love using the drone in this. But it just felt like such a leap forward. I don't know if they had more money to work with. There were more, I don't want to call them extras, side characters, I guess, in this than you're usually, like at the beginning with the hanging of the witch. There were a lot more people there in costumes and some pretty cool work being done there. So I don't know how much more money they spent, or if they just learned how to use After Effects. Although I did see, it looked like they hired someone to do some of the CG or all of the CG.
They do have somebody that does the CG for them. Thought I remember.
They did a
reading
great
for
job.
that.
And I wonder too about the editing, because I know they usually edit them, right?
They
do all
edit
that
after every day. So at
So
the end of every day, they start editing.
if they edited the kind of dreamlike sequences with just all the crazy images moving around and stuff, if they did that by themselves, that must have taken forever. It was impressive stuff.
I know Zelda was the drone operator. And Chad, you brought up the thing with the bones. In Rue Morgue, I was reading how that wasn't in the script or at all. They just came across those bones and said, "Oh, we can't waste this."
Wow.
So they're making this movie. They make their movies on the fly. It's just like whatever feels right at that moment, which is pretty remarkable.
They have a lot of flexibility in that they can ad lib like that.
Yeah,
worked so well. Cool witchcraft stuff in this too.
Yeah.
The way they use spells and open doors and the way that book affected them, just really cool, interesting lore they put in it.
Right.
Well, I can't disagree with you two more. I thought this movie was terrible.
Oh God, Jack, we didn't get your opinion. I
was waiting.
I just keep talking.
I mean, what a letdown. I kid. However, I will say this. It did take me a few minutes to adjust to this movie because I was expecting something more along the lines of the deeper you dig. And what I mean by that is that movie has a lot of suspense in it. And scene by scene, you're like, what the hell's going to happen next? Who's going to find out what? And so there's that whole tension throughout that whole movie. This movie doesn't have that at all. So it took a few minutes for me to realize, like, okay, this is a whole different animal. So when you really start to look at the, this is really a mother-daughter situation and really looking at isolation, so I'm homeschooled and all that, and she keeps her away from, and then
which she is
taking those kind of themes and putting an actual mother and daughter playing it, it brought a sense of realism to it that, you wouldn't get probably with two other actresses. So yeah, I think definitely the evolution is apparent. They've taken a step in a different direction, but definitely a step up. So I was pretty impressed with it. But like I said, based on the trailer, I was expecting something a little more, I don't know,
in your face
horror. And instead I got something that was a little more cerebral. And they crushed it. And having talked to them right before we watched it, it was amazing to we asked them about the editing. We asked them about the music. It was really weird. Like now that I've had a conversation with them, hearing them read their lines and there was a real personal feeling to it. So that was really fun for me as well. But overall, I agree with whoever said that I'd like to see Shudder invest in them and see where they could go. Absolutely.
Me too.
This was cool.
Yeah. No, getting to talk to them gave me a definite better appreciation for what they're doing. I mean, and then watching some of their older non-horror movies as well. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what they're doing. I mean, and it's mostly the three of them. Lulu, their other daughter, who was the girl that Zelda met at the pool. She really doesn't do as much with them. She's there for moral support. She doesn't really. I think they said she doesn't really want to be an actor. Everybody, the performances are so solid. I mean,
they are. Yeah,
it's a family living in the Catskills, making movies on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost hope that Hollywood never taps them because it's going to ruin the special sauce.
Right.
But it would be great if Shudder taps them and says, here, just keep making movies the way you make them. And then take the profit you make from one movie, put it in the next until you get enough where you can just chill out, and we'll go up there and hang out with some beers. And
yeah, you don't want like the executives giving them notes.
Exactly.
On the dailies they saw and saying,
I want them to hand them money and say, we'll see you in 2 years.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
No. It's not broke. Don't try and fix it, Hollywood.
Yeah.
And, Hellbender, it's the name of the movie. It's the name of the band that the mother and daughter are in real life.
Mm-hmm.
John was a punk rocker growing up. So they definitely have his DNA. She has his DNA for sure. And we'd love to see them live because their music was surprisingly really good. Yeah,
it was.
Like, it's almost unfair that you have all these things, all these talents.
Yeah, I was watching it with I just got done with it. Like, I watched it like just a few hours ago. I was done like maybe a half hour before we went on, and I just kept telling my wife, I was like, how does a single family like do all of this so well?
My family can't agree on an epping restaurant to go to. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how they can agree to make a movie together.
It's impressive, and it
Really is.
doesn't look like a cheap movie a family
No.
made. The
No.
sound, the video, I mean, it looks and sounds great. I mean, it's super impressive.
Yeah, because you have to go into this movie holding your breath a little bit for the special effects, because even when you see the trailer, you're like, okay, we're not seeing a, mainstream Blumhouse or Conjuring level special effect movie. This is going to be on the lower end of things. So you're going to allow for a little bit more of that. But you're exactly right, Jason. They cut right when they need to. They use special effects sparingly, and when they do, they put it to good use, and then they get in and get out with it.
I thought that same thing. Like when they would put the hand on the book, it would just subtly start to warp, and then they would pull away. And it's like that's all we really need, to see that little bit. Don't overdo it. And I really liked when they made the decisions too to like when she turned that thing into a flower and it floated. That we didn't see the flower float. Instead, we just the camera went up and they looked. And I liked that. It made it. It gave it that much more.
That was a very good choice.
Yeah, there was a couple spots with the CGI, but I mean, what are you gonna do? It's
mere quibble.
I thoroughly enjoyed. I would love to see what they could do with like a really dark drama that has no like Super Dark Times or River's Edge or something like that, where it's like a coming of age, really dark thing where there's no supernatural elements. They would kill it with that music
watch some
and
of their
those
earlier
performances
stuff too.
Yeah.
Check out
Their
the
earlier stuff
Deeper
is
You
more
Dig.
drama.
Is that still on Shudder?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Yeah.
I
will.
don't. Is it?
Check that
It
out.
just should be, right?
Yeah.
I do like the way they kind of also use the pandemic to their advantage, because it's obviously made during the pandemic, and she's homeschooled because she's sick. She's telling everybody, "I'm sick. Don't come near me. I'm sick." And her and the mother, it seems like they never really interact with anybody. So I like incorporating what we're living through to put that in there, but not beat you over the head with it.
Yeah, and they kind of even allude to it when the Amber girl says, aren't we all, or something.
Right.
Where I kind of gathered that maybe she was referring to the pandemic.
I think she was just saying everyone's a fucking
distancing.
sick jerk.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah,
it could be.
Young.
We're all
sick.
I also, it's one of those movies too where nearly every shot is like a frameable like piece of art. Like whether it be because of the locations or just the way it was shot through, like a window, and then there's a girl, like I can't remember the shot, but there was one that she was looking in a house or a garage or a shed or something, and they shot from the other side through the window, and you could see her there. There was a lot of that kind of stuff, or like the snow scene where they're puking. Well, I won't. I don't want to get into spoilers, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
But
you're
they
right.
do
Though.
use-
Some of the
they do
nature
use
shots
lots.
too.
Yeah,
like the
the
river
woods.
and that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it
their
helps that
backyard.
they just shoot stuff they come across if they think something looks good. I mean, obviously that helps, and I think their lack of pretension helps too. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the younger girl's name? Was it Zelda?
Zelda.
I mean, she's running through the woods in a bikini.
Yeah.
The mom's got gray in her hair. They're not
Mm-hmm.
hiding anything. It's just
Yeah.
all on screen, and
Makes it very real. Mhm.
Yeah, it makes it real, and it makes it look great.
Yeah.
So
Believable.
I dug it. Before you hit that bell, Jack, I just want to say to anybody listening, like, what is your excuse? Why haven't you written the book or made the movie or started your YouTube channel or whatever the hell it is that you've always wanted to do? Watch this, and then what is your excuse? I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
this movie is really good, and it's just a freaking family made it. I mean, it's wild.
I would compare this to that movie Headhunter, the guy who did Thanksgiving, and then he does Headhunter.
Yeah,
Like,
super impressive movie.
Amazing stuff that you can DIY and make it look like way bigger than it actually is, just by talent and skill.
The technology's there. That's not your excuse anymore.
Yeah.
you
Some
can
people are
shoot a
like, my
movie on an
family
iPhone."
doesn't support me like they do.
And listen, like I said, the added bonus here, Hunter and I talked to them. They are the nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
And so you can't help but root for them. And so you got to watch our interview with them. Jason, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
If you want some inspiration They live together. They get out. They make music. They make movies. You know, they go home. They edit. They go back out, reshoot. It's an amazing story.
They love and support each other. What a weird thing in this world.
Yeah. My family has trouble singing "Happy Birthday" together. Somebody's going fast. Somebody's going slow. We're never starting a band.
Start over again.
I'm just happy the movie didn't suck, so we didn't have to all sit here and pretend we liked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That would have been painful.
I would have been able to do that.
Spoiler alert.
The holy bell of Antioch has rung.
Bring out your dead.
Before I forget, and this is a spoiler, and now that we're in this, did anyone notice like parallels with the movie Raw? How the girl was fine until she ate meat.
Oh.
Like it was an awakening.
Oh.
I didn't, but now that you said it.
And meat. You mean worms?
Well, yeah, I mean that was the catalyst for what came out. You know, this
worms
secret.
and maggots. This isn't the life I want to live. I'm like, if this is being a witch, I'll just be happy, not witchy.
I mean,
did like
you get to eat pine cones and shit.
Yeah.
How do you even? Man, imagine that. Just feels like it would tear up your throat and your anus.
Yeah. I thought of that seriously when I was looking at the breakfast that she was being served before she started turning. I'm like going, I think that would really upset my colitis. I think I'd be in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Good fiber.
No, there's too much fiber. There's such a
fiber
thing.
that's going to stay in there. Permanent fiber.
Like a beaver dam.
Yeah.
Super duper Metamucil.
This movie did give us something that we didn't get, that people felt they didn't get with the Deep Your Dig. They got more of the relationship between mother and daughter, which I thought was really cool. And I think it does, parts of it reflect their real life relationship, but parts of it reflect the usual teenage assholery that parents have to deal with, especially when you're trying to shield them sometimes from the world or from themselves.
Assholery.
Yeah, you definitely have
lots of assholery in a house with teenagers.
You get the tight bond of them growing up together and being intimate like that, and then the girl coming of age and starting to rebel. And then I kept thinking like homeschooled kid, sheltered, you know. And then she goes out and hangs out with her friends. The first thing she does is eat a worm.
That wasn't a little bit of tequila in that glass either, in that cup. I was like, you've never drank and you're just going to pound that? Like, have fun.
And the cup with the worm was very murky.
Yeah. There was a lot of dirt in there.
It was clear. I was like, what the hell?
There's a lot of dirt floating.
We didn't clean the worm before.
No.
Have either of you ever eaten the worm?
Not the worm. No.
Nope.
I hate tequila.
I can't stand tequila.
I love it.
I like good tequila, but I like it a lot, so I don't drink it.
I like gin and vodka and all that, but not and whiskey, but not tequila.
If someone whips out Cuervo, I'm like, go away from me. I need Patron or higher. Let's up the game here.
Yeah, I don't like cheap tequila.
I
wanted to ask about the drum set at the pool. It's just outside.
Yeah.
And the guy comes home and runs the teenagers off and then is yelling, that's a, what's he say? It's an antique or it's a vintage
collector's
drum set
item or something. Yeah.
I'm like, why is it outside?
Why is it outside?
I think they took it out of the shed.
Oh, is that what they did?
Oh, that makes sense.
I missed that. I wanted to ask because I was like, what?
Because it wasn't there in the beginning. You're right. They took it out of the shed.
Did you guys notice anything symbolism with colors in here? Because I didn't notice it until halfway through, so I can't remember what people were wearing at the beginning of the movie. But I know when the girl was basically awakened, her and her mother were both wearing blue, and then when things started to take a dark turn, and they had that really cool scene where the cars were crashing, the little girl was using a blue car, and then the mother had a red car. And I would just be curious to know if they did all that kind of like Hitchcockian type stuff that if those colors were, but I can't remember what they wore at the beginning. But then I felt like they were both blue when she was teaching her all of her stuff. They were wearing two different shirts that were the same blue color, and as though they were kind of like equal now. And then maybe the reds symbolize death or bloodshed.
You're beyond me, dude. I didn't notice anything like
Well,
that.
Jack and I have
had-
been drinking all day, so
She also had a pink Paul Stanley star going at one point. So
yeah.
Well, it was more like actually, it was like a, I don't know, some kind of red, like a metallic red, like a dark red.
I'll have to watch it again to find out.
Yeah, I have
star.
no idea.
I'm sorry, Bob Ross. I didn't get the actual color code on that one.
I did like when
phthalo
they were
blue.
when they were showing the mother
Titanium
was always
white.
doing hearts or talking about love or something, and the daughter was just, as the movie went on, where she was just dashing that, talking about death and
Yeah.
okay, I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see outtakes when they're doing those things, though, like when they're like laying face to face or whatever and doing that. Like they must have started cracking up so many times.
Oh, I'm sure.
I wonder how often it's like, Mom, God damn it, or Dad,
Yeah.
shut up.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to see the outtakes. Those were those scenes like that, like the car, them laying there, the couch, some of the wood scenes,
Spitting blood on each other's face.
were really
Oh, that was so weird.
were really beautiful. I thought. Nobody mentioned the sound design in this movie was phenomenal too. Like the music was great, but the sound, all the weird sounds that they had throughout, so
Especially when you think about it being a homemade movie. We asked them about sound a little bit,
good.
but just think about like most homemade movies, you start with like just whatever sound you get. And so when you start to notice sound design, you're like, oh, they put a lot of work into this and they don't have
A
the
lot.
resources.
It helps
I think
to have a
sound is the
family of
hardest part of
musicians.
a movie.
If
Yeah.
they're musicians, they're very tuned into sound, and they
Yeah,
are.
probably.
So
Yeah.
that definitely helps.
It's the hardest thing, but really about any video. I mean, getting the sound right is just brutally difficult.
Like this show.
Like,
Well, they just had weird, strange sound effects, from that just made the scene all that much better.
Yeah. This is. What do you guys think of the ending there?
I really, really liked the ending. I didn't understand until close to the ending the seasons eating each other thing. I don't know why. I had a long weekend, and when it clicked, I was like, "Oh shit! Oh, okay, this is gonna get interesting." And then she didn't eat her, but I liked the dynamic switch when it was, "I'm going into town. Do you want anything?" And then she said, "Which one?" I was like, "Oh,
Big
that was
strings. Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
so good."
Mm-hmm.
Flipped it all the way around.
Yeah,
But with the implication that sooner or later,
yeah.
I will
Yeah.
eat you.
But the question is, do you want to do that? Because once
I'm
you
gonna
do, it
eat
sounds
ya.
like you get pregnant. So
That's
you're
what I
basic-
was gonna. Yeah, because she says I don't need a little hellbender right now.
yeah.
Right now.
So
But
you
she
don't
will.
want to eat that person until you're ready to go yourself, because you're basically signing your own death warrant at some point.
Right.
So I think that's a cool idea. I just love the lore in
Yeah.
it. Even the stuff
Yeah.
they don't go into that much, they just hint at things. I thought that was great.
I like the idea of, because God, eternal life is terrible. So I like the idea of you could have eternal life, but you're going to want an out sooner or later. So to out it, you eat your mother, get pregnant, and then you're like, all right, that's good. I got another 20 years. Maybe I can finally
Right.
shuffle off this coil.
And then you don't teach your daughter anything until you're kind of at the end of your rope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or don't let her eat meat.
It's good
Let your
stuff.
kids eat meat. There's lots of good proteins out there. Eat your meat. You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. So
It's interesting because there's only a handful of witch movies that you can really recommend to people. You got The Craft and everything else. So like it's
Slapface?
nice to have a little what?
Slap face.
slap.
That maybe Pie-a-Whack-It. I mean, there's not a lot of
No,
good witch
Pie
movies.
Whack-It's a pretty good movie.
The
My
Witch.
family doesn't like it, but I like
The
it.
Witch. Yeah.
What's that movie? The Witch? Oh yeah, that thing. Anya Taylor-Joy is a joy.
Oh joy.
Oh joy. Oh boy. Oh joy. So look at that. 4 thumbs up. You all liked it.
Absolutely.
Big
Look.
time.
Our job is just to give you the good stuff. We used to give you a lot of bad stuff. Now there's no time left in life. We could all be dead by next week, thanks to Vladimir Putin. So watch good movies between now and then. Don't waste time with shitty movies. Although, if you want a shitty movie, watch So Bad It's Good.
I was
You
gonna
can see,
say,
like,
how about Kiss My Ass?
you can watch 20 minutes of you guys shitting on a movie, but you don't have to watch the whole shitty movie. How about that? Works for
Hunter,
me.
we never know what we're gonna get when we watch these movies. So
No, we
Yeah.
don't. But we lucked out. So we have no idea what we're watching next week.
we don't.
I was hoping that Foo Fighters movie would come on demand or something, but it doesn't look like it. But we'll see. Maybe. Drop it on Tubi. I forget. Studio something? Haunted
Studio
Mansion?
666, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see.
Probably not.
The suspense, I know, is killing all of you. But until then, be good little boys and girls and watch horror.
Bye.
Peace.